Let's start it.
Morning, everybody.
Good morning, Dan. All right.
And good morning.
Good morning, and we are recording now and starting the meeting.
So good morning, everybody. Welcome to 1 Million Cups Fairfax. Today is Wednesday, August 6th, and we would like to welcome you all to today's meeting. So a little bit about the Kaufman Foundation. We work with communities and entrepreneurship and education to increase opportunities that allow all people to learn, take risks, and to own their success. We are national and local. Our mission is to work towards creating consistent educational experience for each 1 million cups presenter nationwide. We are all for presentation, no pitches. We are looking for authentic connections, not networking. We run for the community, by the community, and we are radically and intentionally inclusive. We'd like to welcome all our visitors. Please raise your hand. We will call you on, and once you do, please share your name, your company name, and how you heard about 1 Million Cups. We'll start with the room, with the Zoom guests, with Elizabeth Brooks. All right, we'll come back to Elizabeth. And we have a couple new folks here in the room. If you can please come over and introduce yourselves. Yes, please. You can come this way. Right here, in front of me. There we go.
Hi, I'm Shaka Gupta, and I'm just starting my journey of starting my own a small IT consulting firm. So its name is Adapt AI ML. So I'm looking for I heard about this organization from George Mason University webpage. Yeah, and just trying to explore how can I get some help.
Welcome.
Thank you so much.
There you go.
Hi, my name is Adriana. Maria is my mom. And I'm gonna be a freshman at Northern Virginia Community College this fall semester.
What's your name? Your name?
I'll introduce you. And this is my younger daughter, Isabel. She's starting middle school this year, and she's here to join us and learn more about 1 Million Cups.
Thank you. Yay.
Right. So if you please scan the QR code, the folks over at HQ would loves to keep track of how many guests in attendance we have to make 1 Million Cups Fairfax even better. We are looking to hit the 30 attendees mark. So if you please tell your friends and colleagues about us, we'll really appreciate it. And 1 Million Cups Fairfax doesn't happen just by mistake or on its own. We have a group of wonderful organizers and brand ambassadors. We also have Veterans Growing America and the Fairfax County Economic Development supporting our efforts. If you want more information, you can scan the QR code. We have a location sponsor and a coffee sponsor. Today, Eddie Hill with George Mason Enterprise will do a little bit of introduction to the George Mason Enterprise Center.
Welcome and good morning, everybody. Glad to have you with us at Mason Enterprise Center this morning. Actually, it's been a terrific summer for Mason Enterprise Center. I hope yours has been good as well. We've added 7 new companies in the month of July. We just got word earlier this week that a couple of our companies are expanding. So a lot of good things are popping at Mason Enterprise Center. To remind you, we're a traditional business incubator. And so we're looking for long-term engagement as members together. An opportunity to work with you and bring some of our resources that we have, including our in-house mentors and our in-house corporate partners, to bear to the benefit of your company. If you'd like to learn a little bit more about what these companies have discovered about Mason Enterprise Center, please reach out to me directly at ehill25@gmu.edu. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Eddie. And our coffee sponsor is with our friend Amy Hughes with 48 Fine Candy, who has the most delicious marshmallows you could ever taste. She is not with us today. She's taking care of her dad. I hope he's doing well. But like I mentioned, she's now in Vienna and Tyson's area at the 777 Leesburg Pike. And how our meetings go, please keep your comments and questions till after the presentation. Please, we ask that you mute your mics and keep your best manners. We are here in a professional setting, so please, let's be courteous and supporting. And our presenter today is Craig Ballard with 5C Consulting. Welcome.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Greg. So really glad to be here with you guys over here in the 1MillionCups Fairfax. I've been part of the Manassas community on and off for a few years. So 1MillionCups is quite home to me. And so what I want to share with you today is a little bit about the business. How could I create some awareness and engagement quickly and effectively? And there's some nuances under that. Do you have the admit? Okay, Jen's got that. So who am I? First 20 years of my real career I spent in the church world, ministry leadership, former pastor. I'm currently in my 3rd business. The first 2 were, late teens, early 20s. But I did run them and I did get some money made there. But I've been in my 3rd business for about 10 years as an executive coach. Does everybody hear me okay? Oh. And my focus has been organizational and talent development for the last decade or so. So who am I? Why? My core belief is that the workplace is the ideal for development. Okay, I deeply believe that when we get up and go to work every day, that is the place where we exercise our strengths, we discover our weaknesses, and we get to grow. I'm deeply committed to the personal and professional development space. I firmly believe that we can all aspire to what we've been created and designed to be and to realize, and that can have a very positive impact on the world. And so this combines my 20 plus years of faith-based leadership and 10 years of business experience. So what are we talking about? All right, so here's a quick snapshot of some of the areas that I have expertise and development in, but that red box is the one I want to talk about today, faith-based peer advisory groups. All right, so in February this past year, as we know, we got a new administration in town. We had the whole Doge thing. And really what happened was when the Doge came through the federal government, I've been selling into GSA through multiple offices a pretty substantial amount of my revenue, and it all got turned off at once. And so I had to step back and say, okay, well, I have some consulting clients. They are kind of peaks and valleys, and that revenue was the steady drum that was kind of keeping things humming. So I had to figure out what I was going to do. So it took me a couple months, and in May, I signed a licensing agreement with a program called Kingdom Factor. And in June, I launched my first in-person peer advisory group with 6 active members. My goal is to get to 20 or 25, depending on my pricing model, and through multiple in-person and virtual groups. This month, I'm focused on my campaign on launching my first virtual group. So that's kind of the context that we're talking about here. Real quick, I'm not going to read every detail here, but what is Kingdom Factor? It's a national group of Christian business leaders. We meet once a month for 3 to 4 hours. We have a short time of prayer. We discuss some content. We have a crucial conversation, which is basically Million Cups but much more focused and much more expansive. We do some godly counsel, which is 10 or 15 minutes on a specific business issue. And then we have what's called imperatives. We call these goals with teeth. You identify what you're going to achieve, and you identify the consequence you're going to give if you don't achieve it, which is typically you write a check to the group, and then we elect where that money goes. All right, member criteria, you got to have the authority to implement in your business. You got to agree to a statement of faith, and you got to have control of your calendar so you can make those meetings. That's the real quick bullet points of what a Kingdom Factor group is. And this is me. If you want to find me on LinkedIn, I think now we got a business challenge, right? Challenge question. So how can I create some awareness and effective and engagement quickly and effectively to boost these membership numbers? This is a fee-based membership, peer advisory. Think of Vistage, think Convenes, think C12, but it's under the Kingdom Factor program and me. All right, with that, I'll take some input or clarifying questions.
James, would you come on up?
Thanks, Greg. So,
You're gonna have to talk here. James.
Yeah. Otherwise, you can give myself choices. By the way, I'm okay with.
So where do I sit? Do I?
you're going to stand right
Right
here.
here.
Okay.
I'm sorry in advance, you have to stand next to me.
Yes,
stand right here, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Get the light on me. Right, okay, so we're moving to Q&A. Now, as Maria says at the beginning, questions concise, to the point, please. Be kind and courteous. And for Greg, responses concise. If we need to get more color on something, we can do it later on, but let's get through the questions first. So if you have a question, please raise your hand using the toolbar and we can jump right in. And we have Melinda, you first.
Make sure you're unmuted, Melinda.
Two quick questions, sorry. Do you belong to any faith-based groups, networking groups, or other kinds of organizations or associations in the area? And the other question is really quick. Are your meetings face-to-face when you get together with your panels and everybody that's in the groups, or is online or in person?
So I have an in-person group. I'm planning to grow those. My current campaign is on virtual. So I'm essentially across the Eastern Seaboard and really around the country. It can really be open. So I can do both of those. But I have the physical group that meets in person right now. I'm going to grow that, and then I'm looking on the virtual campaign. Have I joined anything? Yes, I've joined the U.S. Christian Chamber of Commerce, which is a very small chamber, but it's active. I need to leverage that. I'm looking into that right now. I've also joined the Christian Professionals Network Worldwide. They do like a mini mastermind twice a month. I'm on those calls. So some of those things are there. But yeah, great idea. As far as local things, I'm still looking for those opportunities. Obviously, I'm part of a church, and I have an existing network, but there's not a lot that I've found and been access to on this topic just yet. So if there's anybody has any ideas, drop them in the chat. I'll definitely take a look at them.
Oh, awesome. Thanks, Melinda. Anyone else? Anyone in the room here?
I have a question.
Jen.
Thank you. The goals with teeth.
Yeah.
That reminds me of there's like an online program where you set a weight goal, and if you don't make it, you pay, but if you do make it, you get paid. So when you're talking about goals with teeth, just to clarify, that's what you meant. Like somebody says, I'm gonna do this. Here's the dollar amount I'm willing to take a bet that I can achieve it, but if I don't, I'm giving it to the group.
Yeah, so for
Okay.
example, like the last round we did, everybody put in $200 against the goal that they agreed to do. Now, I've heard another member
Yeah.
who is very committed on a high goal. She said, I'm putting $2,000 on the line. And the deal is all that money gets collected, and then we vote. Does it go to a church? Does it go to a ministry? Does it go to an individual we want to bless? But nobody in the room, I don't get that money. Nobody in the room keeps that. But it allows some teeth to be put on. So it's really like a reverse consequence. We also have a spot for rewards. If you hit your goal, you can give yourself a reward. And one of our members owns an ice cream shop. So
So much.
Just saying.
progress will be made.
just saying.
And I guess my follow-up question, because we're talking about awareness and engagement. I haven't had a chance to look at your messaging or marketing, but I think that the duality of faith-based and CEO leadership
Mhm.
it'd be interesting to incorporate that messaging as sort of two sides of the same coin and help differentiate what you're doing. So for the 6 members you have now, how did you get them and what made them say yes?
All personal relationships. And I did a presentation in Manassas and I had follow-up conversation. I did a lot of texting, did some informational briefings where we basically do something like this. And then I spent about 30 minutes explaining the model and the core components to it. And then I have a follow-up call. So we've got a nice marketing process. The challenge that I'm working through right now is twofold on this one marketing side is I have a consulting business, 5C Consulting. I do org and talent design. That is still up and running. And that is my primary profile on LinkedIn. And I work with organizations and my faith is not the topic. My faith is not entering in the conversation. Obviously who I am is there, but that's not the topic. So one of the other nuances is on LinkedIn, do I wrap what I'm doing with faith-based business leaders into what I'm doing with talent and org design, and how does that impact, the marketing that I'm doing and the people I'm serving? So that's another component to this.
Cool. Is there any, because I have a question if there's not one pending right now. So in an ideal world, do you see these two businesses running together? The Kingdom and your consulting business, or do you see if Kingdom were to take off, can you see that being like your primary business and the 5C maybe taking a
So
step down?
it's hard to say.
Right.
So right now, 5C is the core business. And once I hit 25 members, I'm going to be basically at capacity.
Right.
And so I'm thinking if the marketing goes well, I'll be done campaigning by the end of fall, maybe winter. We'll see. Right. And once I have a couple basic groups, the internal referrals will drive and I'll have a couple simple systems. So I'm not ready to completely disrupt the platform, my brand identity, if you will, on LinkedIn with 5C, but who knows what's going to happen. And, maybe I fall in love with this thing and I decide this is what I do full time. I haven't made that choice yet.
Okay. All right.
John Rutenberg's question.
Mr. Rutenberg, is your hand up?
It is. For some reason, when Jen made me a co-host, I lost that privilege. It's interesting.
Yeah, I know that happens.
Yeah. Hey, number one, thank you so much for being here today and appreciate the doji. Stinks. It's important though. So in order to replace that with 25 people, you're charging more than $1,000 per person per session.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
My fee is not that. My fee is not that. There's another challenge question on pricing, but the fee is not that. It is currently in person $650 per month.
Okay.
Per month.
Per month. Okay, so it's 650 times 12 is 8,000 or 8,500 bucks. That's an investment, and you have it.
Yep.
What I'd like you to describe for us is your product, what it really is, and what it entails, and the outcomes. Because in order to promote the business, you really want to promote the outcomes. And from the 6 current people who maybe, are they the physical group?
Yes.
Okay. Those outcomes are particularly meaningful in the beginning. So describe the outcomes for us. Project what you're expecting people to get for their 8,500 bucks.
So unpack that right here. Sure. So we have, everybody in this room runs a business or works inside a business, and you can all relate to uncertainty, unpredictability inside business, right? I'm living it right now. We can all recognize that it can be very lonely and isolating with, hey, I have these decisions to make. I'm not necessarily going to take it to my spouse or my partner, because while they may be super supportive, they may not fully understand the business side of it. And if they did, they may have a biased slant on lower risk or higher risk compared to where I'm at. So we also have a social media. Look, one wrong decision, one thing on social media, and your business it gets in the eyes of the wrong folks and they want to make a big deal about it. There's a very easy cancel culture. So the other piece is the faith element. right? When we gather together, and I'm not asking anyone to call themselves out here, but when you gather with a group of people that share your faith and have a solid premise, you're starting at a place of, okay, this person's at least has a similar worldview to me, and they're in business, and they understand the trials. So now we have a cohort of peers that can help me make decisions. And that's essentially what we are, a peer advisory council. All right, now what are some of the outcomes? Well, 12 months a year, 12 goals will be achieved, right? Because you're going to have that imperative, you're going to have the teeth on that goal to get it done. I'm also available in between sessions as a business coach. So that's something else that I'm rolling into this. And then outcomes. So I only I've got 2 months into this. So I launched in June. We had our second meeting in July. We have our third one coming up. So it's still very early for me, but some success stories from other members include bringing in a business idea and asking them to essentially red team, find all the holes. And they did, and they saved him over $300,000. Now, because they were part of a program that supports rescuing kids out of trafficking in Mexico, they took a bunch of that money and they sent it to there. And 62 kids were rescued out of trafficking in Mexico.
That's a great outcome.
So that's one example.
I'm only interrupting because one of the prompts to the presenter is say, give very short responses so you can have more time for questions. But thank you very much. And I'm excited that you're here and that you come on a regular basis.
Too funny.
You bet.
Thank you, John. Melanie, you're up.
Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to meet you all. I have a question. I'm a business owner, but also I have a background in faith-based. I went to Bible college. I spent many, many years in that world. And my question to you is, have you considered going to the different like church denominations? And because they have more governance, and perhaps you would have more ability to work with the different denominations in the Christian faith, and then be able to establish a network that way and speak at different churches, because there's a lot of members who are business owners and have that background. And then it would be more strategic in that you would be able to go at the denominational level and then, kind of, filter off that way, would be my question.
Yeah, so I don't have a plan for that. I have started to think about that. And given the context working in church world, I'm working through my own church right now, and there is a little bit of friction, right? And it's not that anybody's like doesn't want to see what I'm doing to be successful. It's the moment that they realize that I'm maybe getting a cash benefit because it's my business, where they're now like, I don't know if we want to platform you in our ministries because this is your business model. And I completely respect that. I think the approach would be, if I was to create some content that related to faith and work and present on a ministry level, but knowing that I'm going to be inviting people to come learn more about me. So I think that's a fantastic idea, maybe a great strategy. I have thought about it, but I have not created a plan for that yet.
Awesome. Jane, your hand's up. Do you have another question?
I did.
Okay,
I have a
then
suggestion.
back to Jane with a suggestion.
So I am a Vistage speaker and also a member of Vistage. And part of what I've done for Vistage chairs in the past is help launch groups. And so one of the effective ways to do that would be to find a trusted leader in the community, also who has faith alignment, and have them host an event and invite their potential network. So when I did this, it was with a friend of mine who is a wealth management firm, and he put the call out to, I think, 15 different executives, and they just came and did an info session. They did a mini issue discussion, crucial conversation, and then the next part, which I forget what it was.
Now the council.
Thank you.
Yep.
And they signed up.
That's a
all of that.
fantastic strategy.
So
love
I
that
would
idea.
think of like, who do you know, whether it's wealth manager, CPA, attorney,
Mhm,
but someone who has a big network that would be willing to collaborate with you.
mhm.
You can host it at their offices or host it somewhere else, and invite people to that,
Love it. That's a fantastic idea. Thank you.
of course.
Thanks, Jen. Anyone else with a question, either online or in the room? If not, I have a suggestion,
Sure.
maybe. So other than we wrap this thing around faith-based individuals, right, who kind of are in alignment with you and everything else, I don't know that this is any different to any other coaching, peer group, whatever, that might be out there. And so generally, when you start to look at because your question is, how do I build awareness? So awareness is about visibility,
Mhm.
right? And there's a number of ways we can do that. But I look at some of the real simple things that can be done once and then just repeated. So for instance, maybe you put together like a 15, 20-minute overview of what this is.
Yeah, I have that.
Record it. You put it on LinkedIn, but you put it on LinkedIn 3 times a week, right? You stick it on Instagram 3 times a week. But calling out very specifically, like, this is who it's for, this is where it is. Because right now it's all in person, I believe. You're doing this.
So
Or
I
is it going to be virtual?
I have in person. The goal this month is to launch virtual.
Is to get the
So
virtual
I'm
one.
actively campaigning virtually.
Perfect. That makes it even easier.
Yeah.
Easier, simpler. And so I would look at that, because to me, this is a one-to-many type environment.
Mhm.
And I think the faith aspect is going to obviously segment people out who aren't. They're going to go, well, okay, that's not for me. But those that are left
Mhm.
are absolutely going to be, this is something that I'm really interested in. And it should be easier then to have those conversations. And if it's a case of shoot the video, just keep posting the same thing over and over and over and over again, because not everyone's going to see it the first time, right? And so the call to action is, hey, book a call, do this, whatever makes you comfortable to get them in, discovery call it whatever you will. I would do that like now.
Well, what I am doing right now, so that leads to the previous question. What I'm doing right now is I'm actively on LinkedIn connecting 25, 30 folks a day, 25 on Sales Navigator, 10 to 15 on LinkedIn connection requests.
Right.
Every request that comes in, they get a, hey, thank you for requesting. I'm reaching out because I'm doing XYZ. One statement is, are you interested? They respond with, I'm interested. And I say, well, here's some more detail. And I'm hosting what I'm calling peer advisory conversations. So 1 hour conversation
Right.
every Thursday at 10:30. I've got one tomorrow at 10:30. I've got 4 or 5 people already on board. I've got multiple conversations. I got one-on-one bookings just from that activity. And it's good, but where you're going is kind of the next level, which is, okay, Greg, you've got your 5C branding. Go ahead and position yourself as a peer advisory as well. Now, I have changed my LinkedIn title. It does say peer advisory for Christian business leaders, but I have not posted any content on that.
So LinkedIn will allow you to get up to 8 minutes.
Yeah.
Right, of recorded content. Now, if you want to go the next and go live, you can be on there all day if you want, right?
Yeah, I have done some lives.
Be on LinkedIn Live all day.
All day.
I've now figured out LinkedIn Live.
Yeah.
And I can do that.
Right.
Whenever you want.
Whenever you want. But to me, this is all about leverage, right?
Yep.
So you got to leverage whatever you can that can just get repeated, the same thing. So I love what you're doing. I've just doubled down on creating more awareness that way.
And I know we've got some other folks that may want to.
Somebody else.
Yeah, we'll geek out on LinkedIn a little bit later, Jane.
Yeah.
Who's next?
Okay, it's Jen again.
Jen.
Can
Oh,
we get
Maria.
John Rudenberg, or actually,
John, you put your hand up again?
John.
Yes, but
John, hold on, John, your question has to give me a short answer, though. The last
I don't
question
do that.
was a very long answer.
99% of my questions begin with the word what.
All right, come on, Rutenberg, what you got?
Yes. So the one differentiator I heard was your penalty system and the reward to the community when, teeth. So I think that messaging is really, really critical. And if your goal is 25 people on a pipeline basis, because some people graduate and become alums and evangelicals for you, not in the Christian sense, but in the promotional sense.
Mhm.
And I think messaging about that is the only place I see you different. And what I would urge you to do to promote the differentiator is study your competitors in detail. And maybe you have already, but I didn't, other than the reference to them, I didn't hear anything about them. But somehow they were remarkable in that they got to a level that you want to achieve. And then you'll be able to see the differentiators beyond the incentive program you've created.
So were you asking
No, I
the
was suggesting,
differentiators?
I was
Or you're
purely
just
suggesting.
telling me?
Yes.
Okay,
the latter.
fantastic. So there's no question there, John.
Good.
All right, thanks, John, as always, you know. Yes, Maria, come up and ask a question. Oh, great. And let's get John to be quiet.
I love you. A whole question, but I'm looking at your LinkedIn. And I think that there's a lot of opportunity for
I'm not
you to
posted.
include it. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The reason I haven't posted, because on LinkedIn, I'm promoting organization and talent development to corporations that may not be interested in my faith. And I can serve them and serve them well.
Right.
And so this is kind of the other nuance that I'm playing with. I am doing a lot through DMs on LinkedIn.
The issue with DMs is you're reaching, you have a capacity, but you don't have a reach capacity. So that might be not playing well on your end. And what I'm thinking is you can post to Kingdom Faith site on LinkedIn, to your profile, to the company profile. And on your personal, you can just introduce once a week, every certain amount of time, and say, hey, I'm also doing this because I'm passionate for this.
Interesting. So
And then
go to the
just,
Kingdom Factor profile company page,
you have one,
post there, and
videos,
then bring that over to my
everything.
personal.
And then bring to your personal as
Interesting.
a side hustle thing.
I
And
like
say, and then that way you are linking.
level unlocked.
Yes, so you're linking all, because everybody's saying niches.
Yeah.
But there's a moment where we are multi-passionate people and entrepreneurs, and just staying into a single box is sometimes not enough.
Yeah.
So bringing it once or twice a week on your personal, you can also do that. And then when you go live, make sure you have a caption in there, tell what is going on, introduce some other nuances in there, so while you are focused on one thing, you can also start improving your SEO on LinkedIn. That will also, lead back to your other socials.
Fantastic. Thank you, Maria.
Thanks, Maria. Awesome stuff. Oh, we have a question from the back of the room. Please come on up.
I know, I go after everybody else.
I know, I'm just messing with her. Thank you for sharing. I was really intrigued by your penalty idea. But me being me, I think it's more like you're dinging yourself as a negative, but would it help to say, if you achieve your goal, there might be a reward given to whichever charity that you're working with, right? So that way, of course, you're going to dinging yourself, that's fine. But if you do achieve it, I feel that it's like taking away from the charity. But that's the first thing that came to my mind, instead of like giving. So would you, I don't know how it would work, like 50% will go if you achieve your goal. So either way, right? Depends
each
on
of
what
our
people
members structure this for themselves.
Okay.
So I was on a call with other folks like me that are running groups. And one lady was like, hey, look, the negative consequence is not serving me right now.
Correct.
I'm going to put a positive out there.
Yeah.
And that is completely honored. So it's really member driven.
Okay.
The goal is we want to create a system where you are achieving goals that you have accountability around something that is going to drive your business or your life forward.
Yeah, no, thank you. That was something which came to me, like, why am I like all this negativity, but I'm going to be panicking?
Yeah.
I want to give the money, right? I want to help people, other
Yeah.
people out too. So that doesn't
And-
serve me well.
The deep answer behind that is the brain avoids pain more than it seeks pleasure.
Absolutely. No,
And
I get
that's-
that. I get that. But when you bring in your faith based, I'm like, I want to give when
Yeah,
it comes to
yeah,
faith. So
yeah.
thank you.
Fantastic.
Sorry, thank you so much. I think the idea of the pain and the gain is something I don't want my wife to know about, because I'll be getting dinged right, left, and center. Yes, not good, not good. We've still got hands up. Jen, you've got another one. Do you have a comment or question? And then back to Maria.
A couple of thoughts. I love the personal brand question. Those are always my favorite things
Yeah.
to navigate. I might start creating content around outcomes.
Mhm.
So if you just simply said, hey, executives, CEOs, or anyone, if you're having a challenge achieving a goal, there's a concept of reverse consequence, and share an example. And you can say at the end, this is something that we talk about in my peer advisory group. If you want to reach out. So there's whenever I work with someone, I always ask them to think about, we're changing people's thoughts over time. So you don't need to go full throttle on Kingdom Factor. You can do 10% of that and then 90% as 5C. And over time, you can switch it out if you want, if you're worried about what might the reaction be. But I do think you want to be able to simply yourself
Yes.
and not,
Yes.
not hide that. So that was one thought, because I think the emotional message, like the value add, even of just the reverse consequence, that is a differentiator.
Mhm.
And if you wrote a LinkedIn post or did a LinkedIn Live just on that, I think you would get a lot of visibility. And they
So-
could learn more going to the Kingdom Factor or
Yeah.
I don't know where your destination is, or do you have your Kingdom Factor website, or how does that work?
Because I'm on licensed
You have it
deal,
for
they
them.
have
You have them
they have
for
a landing page for me. And I can build that out. So just a couple components on the differentiators. One, how Kingdom Factor separates from maybe Convene or C12. It is, how are we growing to allow God to use us to do his work through our work, right? So it's embracing workplace ministry.
Mhm.
So if you're a business owner, how does your faith show through to your employees, to your vendors, to your customers? And everybody's going to look at that differently. And we're not saying you need to hit this, but we're here to guide that conversation as you explore your workplace ministry. That's number one. So number two there. And then the other differentiator really is me as the coach, as the guy, because there could be multiple Kingdom Factors, but the person chairing that is going to bring their unique perspective and their unique skills. So those would be the key differentiators.
And then, if I ask a follow-up question?
Yeah.
What are the requirements or criteria for who should apply?
So so that was on the earlier slide. So you have to have impact in the business.
So
Okay.
let me rephrase this.
Yes.
In this stage, because that was not a great question. It's a $1 million base to be a CEO member. You cannot overlap with somebody who's already in the group as far as industry, which is a big deal in the peer advisory group. So even with just those two criteria, when you're looking for someone to invite, or when we're trying to help refer them to you, are those things you look for? Because in Vistage or even in any peer group I've been a part of,
Yeah.
you don't have a competing person in your group. Is that true
So
also?
Kingdom Factor does not restrict me.
Okay,
I create my own rules.
got it.
So right now, I have not implemented any of those right now. Obviously, if somebody came into my group and they're selling ice cream in the same neighborhood as the current one,
Mhm.
I'd probably say this, let me start a new group. When I get a new group, we'll bring you in.
And I think that is, I think when you're doing something virtually and somebody could be in another part of the country,
Mhm.
it's less of an impact versus, to your point, Jen, if they're local, it's like, yeah, I'm not having two competing companies who are locally like in the same group.
So I have a non-compete, all members sign a non-compete with businesses that are like mine. And yet I still talk to people that do coaching and leadership development, because we may be different markets, we may be different content. If I don't see you as a competitor, maybe one member doesn't either. So that may grow with some maturity, Jen, but right now I'm not filtering on those levels.
Maria, you have another comment, piece of guidance?
No, I just realized when he answered the question that the peer advisory group on your LinkedIn goes to the main,
Correct.
but it doesn't go to yours.
Yeah.
So at that moment, you lose the ability to have your own voice, your own point of view shared with the community, what makes you different, and then because their website, their LinkedIn profile is geared to coaches. So at that moment, you are missing the ability to speak to what you do as a coach and how you are different to the rest of your colleagues. So that ability again is that visibility showing you and what you can do for those peers. It's what is missing, and definitely something that.
So on the social media side, it's, do I incorporate it into my LinkedIn branding, like through some tactics that we've heard, or do I just move it over to Facebook and make Facebook specifically?
Down the
Okay.
board. So the idea is to have a presence that stands alone
Mm-hmm.
for you, and where you can actually schedule posts, the same post to LinkedIn, Facebook. I don't know if you Instagram, just because you're already there, you're already pushing that information out anyways. And if you create a Google My Business, you can actually have that information in there to, so when people Google you locally or for you, you have those posts. So you are creating one set of output that gets everywhere.
Thank you.
Yeah, you guys should have that conversation and dive into that. Melinda, you raised a question about other groups. Do you want to jump in?
Sure, I've got a couple of questions that all are on the same idea. Are there other faith-based groups, and you can test this in Metro DC because I know there are, where you can become a speaker and talk to the group, be part of their program, get your name out that way. The other things that I was thinking about is you could write a book or do a blog, bringing back a lot of the positive energy and things that you were gathering from all of these meetings and how it makes you feel doing this, because it's sharing your faith and your belief and everything. Do interviews. I mean, maybe even interview some of your members of faith-based and, you know, how much it is important in their lives to be sharing God's message with the people that are around and all the other pieces that go with that. Make yourself more visible and get your name out sideways.
So I have started a podcast. I've got one episode published and a couple of others in queue. And it is essentially an interview style of a faith-based business owner. And we choose a few questions that help tell their story, talk about how they integrate faith and business in their world. And then I have someone in the editing team and we get it published. So I've got one out now and a couple of others in queue. I think that's kind of supports what you're talking about. As far as speaking, I have not pursued that. I have to create some content around this. I think it'd be pretty easy to do, but I'd have to create some content, but that's a great idea.
So is there any more questions sitting in queue? No. So I think I'm getting this now. Is it part of the big challenge for you? Thank you, Jen. Is you want to avoid confusion in the market.
Yeah.
As to where you are right now, right? Yeah. So in terms of how you're promoting yourself, it's almost like we don't want the 5C marketplace getting confused with the Kingdom marketplace. And so you're kind of having to look at doing this quietly, almost surreptitiously, but still building that visibility.
Yeah.
Does that sound?
Yeah. So on my LinkedIn profile, I'm connected with hundreds, maybe thousands of L&D talent, HR folks inside of mid-tier public and private companies. And that is the base.
Right. But they're not customers.
They're not customers for this. They're potential customers for 5C.
How do we know they're not potential customers for this as well?
That's an assumption.
It's a massive assumption.
Yes.
It's huge.
Yeah.
And so I think as you go down this journey, honestly, I think just testing the water, because you may find that your customers for Kingdom are already sitting inside your base. Not everybody is going to promote themselves as being faith-based on LinkedIn, right?
True.
But even if your message, if your content is getting in front of what you think are 5C clients, there may be a bunch of faith-based CEOs sitting in there who go, wow, this is kind of new, right? Maybe at that point, that what they were seeing from you wasn't enough to get their interest.
Yeah, no.
Maybe this is.
I hear what you're saying, James. I do.
Right? So
Yes.
maybe that is.
There is
And sometimes it just takes a little bit of difference for someone to go,
Yeah,
wow, I never
yeah,
knew that about
yeah.
it. Right? So I think you need to be cautious about laying back too much.
Yeah.
But you can test it. You can absolutely test it. You can do it by doing the short video, maybe even do a webinar.
Well, I was going to do one of those LinkedIn updates. Hey, I haven't posted in a few months. Here's what I've been doing.
Perfect.
And, you know, in a narrative, a little image. And I have engagement teams that I've done engagement work with before that I think would come right along and support that.
And honestly, that's just a case of, if this is something that's interesting for you, please feel free to reach out. Like you're going out to them to try and get one-on-one. You want them to come to you one-on-one. You want to do it en masse.
Well, so this is the dilemma
And
though.
maybe
If
a
I
bit of-
create too much of a flood, right? Now, 20 members can seem like a lot or it can seem like a little. But once I hit 2025, I'm going to be pretty much at capacity.
Sure.
Yeah.
Good.
And then,
Breadcrumbs.
okay.
Yeah, breadcrumbs,
Breadcrumbs.
Wait list.
Yeah,
Breadcrumbs.
breadcrumbs is what I said, not breakout.
Okay.
Breadcrumb strategy, just drop little bits of content,
Okay.
right? Like Hansel and Gretel, but a good ending, and putting clients in the form. It doesn't have to be a flood of content.
Where's our candy person?
Yeah. Well, honestly. And honestly, if you get to 25, the best thing you can have in a business is a wait list.
I agree. Yes.
I mean, we want a wait list.
Yes.
So anyway.
Good points. Good points.
Anybody got any other questions,
One good
guidance?
question.
Okay, back to Jen.
I love the idea. I think there's a huge appetite for it. And I'd be curious, have you considered making like a FAQ for it? Like if I join the group, what does this mean? I'm committing to showing up in the group, but also no one's going to come to the group and you're going to expect them to go back to work and preach faith, right?
Yeah, no.
But I think some people might be confused about, is it open to all faiths? How does this help help me in the workplace and help educate people on here's what makes this group different, not just pricing and stuff, but like, how does this help you better once you're back at work and make it approachable? And maybe people aren't confused about that. Maybe I'm just a heathen and it's me, but I think some
Oh, an
people may-
FAQ. I don't know if we have one on our main site.
and it might be something to think about just
Yeah.
for you, like, hey, I get questions on like, is this
Yeah.
faith-based group for me? If you care about ...
Mhm.
Yeah, come check it out.
Yeah.
So just a thought.
Interesting. Anything else? Anybody else got any comment, any guidance? Oh, Melinda's back again. I'm going, Melinda.
Yeah, I just thought of something that I was very involved in the Salvation Army for 12 years in Alexandria. I was on their board of directors. And I think that one of the things, and I was just putting this in the chat, would be to go to some of the groups like the Salvation Army and volunteer when they're changing people, because they bring in new people every 2 or 3 years that run each organization in all the communities, to start the conversation going with the new board. And because they're very they're based on faith. That's, you have to be, anyway, what I'm trying to say is that there's a real synergy where you may be able to find groups like the Salvation Army where you could come to them and work with some of their groups, come in once a year, twice a year, and have discussions on some of the types of things. I think that's low-hanging fruit.
Yeah, interesting idea. I had not thought of that.
And I can introduce you to the Salvation Army in Northern Virginia.
That would be fantastic. Love that.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so for all done for great, awesome stuff. Thank you so much, everybody. I'm going to hand it back to Maria. She's going to close us out. Thanks so much.
Sure. Thank you so much, Greg. Wonderful. I hope.
Jeez. Folks who are online, you may want to save the chat. I'm also going to download the chat file and put it in chat and just
right here.
Or ice cream? Yes.
So one final question, Brad.
Yes.
We'll forget it. So now that we've helped you, we've had this wonderful conversation. What can our 1 Million Cups community do for you?
Follow me on LinkedIn. Engage the content if it inspires you, and if you know anybody that you think I should meet or talk to, I would love and appreciate an introduction. Thank you.
So we're going to be virtual next week. We have an open presentation slot. If you're a business owner pivoting or entrepreneur with an idea, we are more than happy to help you hash out details. You can use the QR code at the bottom to get to the application page. These are upcoming events in our area. We're going to be dropping them on the chat. Are they on the chat yet?
No, 17.
So as I mentioned, August 13, we have an open slot for a virtual meeting, and on August 20th, please join us as we go back and review our virtual town hall, where we are going to touch up and refresh on branding, marketing, and sales workshop. Please help us to spread the word. We are on LinkedIn, Facebook, and X, and the QR code will take you to all places of 1 Million Cups Fairfax. Feel free to scan and get all the great supports that we have for you.
And just
And
I'll
that-
throw in, we also have a YouTube channel. I'll put that in chat, but for any of you, if you're new and you want to learn more about what other presenters we've had, it can be a helpful tool.
Stick around a while. We'll be here for another 5 minutes or so we can talk amongst ourselves.